Okay, well, I, okay, just gonna get to the point of this video because I know a lot of y'all people might have watched the Dhar Mann video last night about Hannah Leah. I'm gonna say this. This is gonna be my opinions, reactions, but I make sure it's positive, you know, and respectful ones. And I'm gonna make this go public, but I want y'all to know this is my number one rule. Number one rule here: be kind to everybody, even in the comments, please. No negative comments allowed. Alright? But this is gonna be my reaction. If y'all didn't go watch the video, first of all, I would go watch the video. It's called My Reaction to okay, this is gonna be based on classmates record sorry. Classmates record girl breakdown. And I thought this has to do with autism, like relatably. And I'm going to just leave this little disclaimer out. So I watch her outfit videos a lot, and this is called Hannah Leah. I know there's one of the videos I heard her last thing called Hemmings, you know. I want to say my heart goes out to her. I know this got to be a hard thing to go through. Having disabilities, like, so I know she's not just having autism that she's had to encounter every day of her life, but she's had to encounter RFID, which is food restriction disorder, and I think she's a warrior when she advocates for people a lot like her to be kind to other people. And I wish we had more people like that. I'm sorry. I I am 34 years old and I go through autism ever since I was little, and I struggle with this every single day of my life. And and I'm gonna say this too, cause it's not easy. No. But I couldn't imagine what she was going through doing orphan and autism all at the same time. So, but I wrote my points here. Okay, the first thing I took notice, and if you watch the first few seconds of the video, or if you've seen it, that she kind of covers her ears. That means she's overstimulated. Um, overstimulated. I did this quite a lot when I was young as that. Um, it got to the point I had to bring hearing protection to school every single day. Even at NSU, I had to bring like either in public school I brought earplugs. Even when I was marching in the parade, I had to put earplugs in my ears, on both ears here, because the stimulant of sound. Sometimes sound gets too much, and with that being said, like lights, sometimes flashing lights, you know, with whether it could be a smoke alarm, right? I don't know if you can see it, but right above my door, right here, I want to show it a little bit. Like you can see the smoke alarm by my door. That can go off whenever it needs to. Or if it's a school fire alarm, and that gets loud too. Or whether if you had sirens, like if you're marching in the parade or stuff like that, it gets a little too much sometimes. And the flickering of the flashing light sometimes, that some autistic people go through. I've personally been through it myself. I've been through a shutdown, just like that video. Just like it. Oh, yeah. And the thing is, that she went through a shutdown. And that's similarly what I went through. And what was the idea my mom came up with? And this is where it kind of gets to another point in here. It can be a fire drill for just like for normal kids, but for people with disabilities like autism, their whole world shuts down like that because the lights and the sounds confuse them every step of the way. And it did that to me too. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, but I was lucky enough not to have people teasing me like or thinking I'm drawing too much attention to myself, which I wasn't back then. Um, but I remember specifically when we had those things happen, like teachers in my, based on the situation back then, they were instructed to grab my hand. They were instructed to make sure I had ear protection, and sometimes the teachers, depending on who they are in their classroom, sometimes they might assign a buddy. And those things work, honey. Those things do. Because, number one, if they see their classmate kind of confused, they're going to want to step in to help if they know about the classmate. So that falls all under the communication belt that like parents and teachers and students should be encouraged to communicate as a team on this. The number one thing I also caught on where she got Hannah got teased in the video, and people were calling her a weirdo. I'm going to say this: autistic people are not weird. No, don't ever think this way, because you know what? We're not weird. We just have special needs that sometimes we adapt to the world very, very differently. Like an overstimulated world, like alarms and sounds and things that can trigger our brains in a number of ways, you know. Like I just had a little incident at my college graduation when they had when people had the bullhorns in the ceremony, and my mind goes to fight or flight instantly because I just wanted to do this, and I should have known to hey look, I should have brought some earplugs. That would have been a thing. For me, I had to explain with some of my professors when they noticed me with the headphones on my ears when the fire drill happens. I said, hey, look, this is every day for me. This is not just temporary. This is like all the time. And sometimes there's certain instances I could not control because it overwhelms. And I like how she explains overstimulated very well. Like, she brings out the points in the video. And I like to say this too, because if I was being in a Dhar Mann video, I'd explain to all of them, say, look, I get that way. I do not like certain sounds. I do not like certain things. You know? Which, I tell you one thing. And I also caught the fact that they were throwing the stuffed bunny around with the two mean girls. I'm sorry about that one because I never had a stuffed animal with me going to school. I kind of left those at home because I know teachers would have confiscated it. But I don't understand because sometimes going through school is a lot of battles for some people. Let alone going into like classrooms for some. That's hard. And yeah, and tackling on the like regular class load, if you are into that, it's tougher for an autistic kid because they gotta work hard. It's not just as hard as anybody to stay in the group. So I do understand her concerns 100% because look, it because you never know what somebody is going through unless you're going through it. Like, take it from my word for word, okay? You don't understand, like, unless you know you're going through that, or you know somebody's going through that on yourself. You know, if you don't know anybody, if you don't know, if you know you're not autistic, but there's sometimes you might know somebody who is. So the first thing you can just do is be a lot kinder. Now I wrote this too. Especially some people don't like wet clothes. They don't like making a mess, stuff like that. Typically, that is a true thing of most kids. They don't like being messy. They don't like being wet or messy unless they're going taking a bath or they're going swimming. They don't like to do that. So I wrote the fact that she was getting upset, and I was like, I felt bad. If this would have been me being mean to someone like her, I would feel awful. I treated her right then and there. I would say, hey, are you okay? Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, this, hey, that, you know? I wish there was more kindness in the world. Like, she brought it out in the very end. Like, the one of the mean girls went on to apologize. I love that. Because, look, this, it made me feel that Hannah deserved better. And, in a way, from my own experience, living with autism, that's hard. Sometimes people have a hard time making friends because of the bullying. It reminds me of a girl that um, I went to high school with, and I kept having accidents on myself over something I can't control, and I was on medication. And one of the girls that graduated with me, and she saw me in the hallway, she stood up for me, which I'm gonna just say how it is. No names involved, but anyways. And she messaged me years and years later, like everything, you know. And she's from Mississippi, like she lives in Mississippi. But anyways, she messaged me. She said, "I'm glad that she was glad that she stood up for me," and it made me realizing, it made me even realize that sometimes kindness in every situation does really matter, you know. So, sorry, I'm yawning. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this video on public and commenting. I'll let you just I will tag the Orphan girl in there, Hannah, and I might be able to try and do that in the video or somewhere. But I hope she really likes this one. See ya.